Hey Board Game Maniacs, Maniac Rob here, and we are at none other than Origins 2019. What we're going to do here is we're going to walk around, we're going to record some of the gameplay that's going on behind me, as well as some of the vendor shows, and interview hopefully some of the vendors to see what new games are coming out of this year and possibly next year. So just hang on to your hats, we'll go to the footy. This is still only like 9:15 in the morning, and this is in Columbus, Ohio. Origin's been going on for several years, and this is the first time that Board Game Maniacs has been attending. There's some gameplay going on here. This section right here is all about demoing different games that are out. And you can see here that some of the demonstrations is like Gaslands, which we will definitely be playing on our channel at some point. And way over there, I'm going to zoom in, you could probably recognize the guy sitting down right there. That's Maniac Bruce. He's learning Blood Red Skies, so that he goes on the channel, he can attempt to take me down. Let's go and look at all the other demos that are going on. Here's a little closer look at the game Gaslands. Now, this game is very interesting because you can take Hot Wheels dekies and you can customize them by putting as many weapons as you want onto them. And you just get a rule book. You can use common D6s or you can get the custom dice. And on top of that, you use like the tokens you can see over there for movement. It's kind of like X-Wing, and it's pretty much like dog-eat-dog, just try to kill as many as you can or play an objective scenario. This is one game that, like I said, is very, very interesting. Another table that caught my eye while I was walking by is D&D. It is the very first edition of D&D, and you can see they gave me a sheet here with the different characters, which is really cool, but look at the setup of this board. I was walking by and I just started drooling automatically. Very, very cool look. And again, anybody who's played D&D will definitely love it too as well. And the gentleman is pointing, what do you? Oh.
Some of the monsters that might be used. Take a look at these figures.
Oh, the monsters. Oh, I'm going to get a close at it. Thank you very much. That's awesome. So you can see here, like this here is just incredible look right now. Here's a close-up of all the different monster figures that they might be using today for the Dungeons & Dragons. Again, don't get this confused with 5th edition D&D. This is going back to the roots for sure. Because, again, very, very great game. This is what I played when I started D&D way back when. I'm not going to date myself, but just by saying the core game of D&D before up to 5th edition definitely is dating myself. But you can see miniatures are phenomenal. This would be something that I would like to put on my channel for sure, to play some D&D. Maybe we will in the future, who knows? Here's a little closer shot of the board. What a beautiful setup. Great for doing some D&D. And you get so sucked into the immersion of that. Every time I'm going here, there's somebody pointing to other miniatures. This is awesome. I'm in heaven right now. So that is the hero figures that you can choose. Oh, we'll have to get a close-up of that. Oh, this is just heaven. Oh, there's a nice shot. Oh, very nice. Woo.
It's great. I played it last year.
Incredible. And here's a quick shot of all the heroes that you can use in this game today. Actually, the Origins is actually running until Sunday. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to be here until maybe Friday or Saturday. This is Thursday, I think. I'm kind of suffering from not knowing what day it is or time like I usually do. But you can see here, this is incredible. I'm going to go around and grab some more pictures and some video clips of different demo games that are going on. By all means, if you're interested in Origins to attending next year, please just Google Origins Game Fair, I think it's called, and you can go onto it, you can sign in. It's very cost effective to go in. You can play different games, like old games, new games, you name it. There's probably a game here that you've been wanting to play and you're going to be able to see it. So let's go on and look at some more games here. Obviously, I'm saying games because this is incredible. Here's a very large scale miniature game. It is Battle Stations. You can see here, again, this looks really interesting. I'm going to be joining in on a couple of games today. Unfortunately, when I did sign into Origins, there was a lot of games that were sold out, but what I'm told is you can still go around to the demo games and you can say if there's a spot available, if somebody didn't show up, and then you just put in one of your generic tokens, which the tokens cost $2 each, and you get to be able to play any game. And the game could last anywhere from like an hour to the whole day, depending on what game you're playing. And this here, again, I'm just going in close one to, this is a very monstrous miniature, and you can see the size of it. Like, I'm just putting my hand in to show size-wise. This is a pretty big miniature and really cool painted.
Hi, I'm Jeff Syedek, designer of Battle Stations and Battle Stations Dirt Side.
Awesome. Now, you were telling me different things about Battle Stations, so I'm just going to swing it over for a second.
Sure.
So
I'll explain what you're seeing here.
Yeah, let's talk about this, and then we'll move on over to the other one.
You've got a starship here, and you can see the blue modules or engines back there, and you got a yellow helm up in the front. And each of these characters on the starship actually has things to do on the starship, like pumping the engines, turning the ship, firing the weapons, that sort of thing, operating the sick bay. And now over here you see the enemy ship, which happens to be loaded up with these rockmen, silicoids, and we had teleported, or sent over by boarding missile, our own Marine to go over there and try to take over that ship. And if you pan up, you can see the hex map. And on the hex map, you can see that's where we represent the ships. So this is a blown-up version of Battle Stations, and then the proper size version will fit on your table, so you don't need to worry about that.
So this is the new version of it, because this game you said has been out for a while?
Right. Originally published in 2004, and then a reprint in 2008, and then a whole reboot second edition in 2016. We kickstarted it in 2017. We published it. And right now we have Battle Stations Dirt Side, which is the same game system, but now you're landing on planets. And that's on Kickstarter right now at tinyurl.com/dirtside.
Awesome. So I'm going to show you a shot of the miniatures. Can you just explain like one or two of the miniatures for me and everything? So we're not going to grab the oversized version, because I want the viewers out there to know that, like you can go on Kickstarter and jump onto the Dirt Side.
Oh, yeah.
And also you can probably purchase, actually that's a good question, is where you can buy Battle Stations.
Yes, there are still the original Battle Stations available in stores and through the Kickstarter.
All right, so let's go look at the miniatures.
All right.
Here's a look at one of the miniatures. So you want to talk about the miniature there?
So this is a Tentac. They're a creature with an infinite number of hands, so they never have to worry about whether they have their weapon in hand or not. They've got their weapon, their toolkit, their med kit, any other special equipment they need in hand. And they also are resilient, so whenever you damage them, that you get to roll an extra die for damage and take away the highest. As opposed to, here's a human. They've got two hands, and they can wear armor, which helps to protect them from damage. And they get to re-roll both dice when they're making a skill check in their own profession. Everybody in Battle Stations has one of the four professions: Marine, Scientist, Engineer, or Pilot.
Awesome. Now, one question, I could talk about miniatures all day because I love them, and so does everybody, all the viewers on our channel. But a question for you is, how many, what's your standard size amount of players for playing this game? Actually, first Battle Stations and then Dirt Side.
So Battle Stations is played, it can be played solo. There's a couple of pages in the rulebook for solo play, but it really shines as a one versus many game, where there's one player playing the enemy and maybe 4 or 5 players as the crew. You can play with up to 8 or 9, but like any role-playing game, the more people you add, the less time you get personally, and so it kind of gets squeezed out. So I recommend like 5 or 6 players and an enemy. And then Dirt Side is completely unmoderated, so you can play that and everybody gets to be part of the crew. And that's the big difference there.
That's incredible. And on average, how long would you say a game takes to play?
A Battle Stations game would be about 2 or 3 hours, and Dirt Side game is usually a little faster, maybe 1 to 2 hours.
Incredible. You're speaking my language, because I understand this, and all the viewers. So there you go. Check out Battle Stations and also Dirt Side onto Kickstarter right now to get yourself a copy. Jump in onto it, and by the looks of this, it sounds like it'd be phenomenal gameplay, especially because with Board Game Maniacs, they love playing these types of games and watching these types of games. So this here is definitely a game up my alley. I'm going to be going to Kickstarter and checking it out myself. So do you have a website or anything else that you can plug?
Yeah, well, Syedek.com, SIADEK.com will take you right to the Kickstarter. Also, GorillaBoardGames.com. But really, right now, we're promoting the Kickstarter because the more energy we get on that, the more stretch goals and extra minis and stuff we get to put in it. And when you do jump in on the Kickstarter, please go into the comments page and tell everybody where you heard about it to help to promote this webcast.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. I won't take any more of your precious time. I appreciate it very much. And remember one thing, though, and I can see it in your eyes, and everybody's going to know what I'm going to say. Let's take a close shot of his eyes.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. I bet you're a maniac, aren't you?
I am. I very much am a maniac. Thank you.
That's why I had to stop here. Here's another set of tables that everybody is playing some demo games. So these games could be new, they could be older, they could be coming out, but you can see there's a lot of people. And again, this is still only 10 o'clock now on Thursday morning, and it's going until Sunday. They're probably expecting at least 5,000 people coming here per day. So that is going to be a very hectic, very busy day for some gameplay, which is incredible. I was doing a walk around and I seen this game that they're starting to learn, and this is none other than Elder Signs, one of my favorite games that we play in the channel. It's an incredible game, and you can see here he's starting to explain the demo, and you got the outer world and the other rooms too as well. I strongly recommend this game. It's from Fantasy Flight. It's a very, very fun game. Another game that we came across is Gloomhaven. Now, everybody knows what Gloomhaven is. We played this on the channel. We're going to be playing more and more of it, but this is a demo. The gentleman is teaching just from scenario one to try to learn how to play it. And this game is so phenomenal. Comment down below and let me know what you think of Gloomhaven, what you thought of the Gloomhaven games that we've already put onto the channel, as well as more games that we are going to be playing at Gloomhaven, because this is incredible. I was just talking to the gentleman off camera, and one thing that I said to as well is learn how to use your cards and use them fast, and you'll be able to last longer into the dungeon. If I known about Gloomhaven was being played, I'd jump onto that in a second. We're now into the vendor section. You can see there's games going on. Now, this is where you're going to find the newer games that are coming out, that the companies, the manufacturers are playing them and teaching everybody.
I don't recognize that
This
name.
is huge. Like, the amount of space that there's so many vendors in is incredible. Hopefully I'll get some interviews with a couple of the vendors, and we'll move on from there. All right, Board Game Maniacs, we are here with none other than the big man himself, John, again. You've seen him onto the Adepticon interview that we had, and he told us about all the great stuff that Warlord has come out with and is coming out with. So, John, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions again.
Sure, I'm ready for you.
And that is, what have you been up to since, like, Adepticon? Like, you see so many people, you travel all over North America for Warlord Games.
Yes, I do.
Showing all the marvelous games that Warlord Games has and everything. So, is there anything in your mind that is stuck out as opposed to, like, the direction that Warlord Games is going in?
Great question, Rob. It's really cool that there's different factions in the United States. Like, Missouri's a hotbed for our science fiction game, Gates of Antares. Then up in Chicago, there's a huge bunch of bolt action players and Cruel Seas players. Down in Texas, I ran into a bunch of Blood Red Skies guys. So it's really cool to go around and see the different flavors and the different kinds of games we've been playing. I've been to Texas, Ohio. I was up in where else I've been since Adepticon? England. So it's just seeing some new stuff coming out. Check out some of those things. You're gonna be excited to hear pretty soon at the end of the year. Maybe you see a guy in a helmet. Know what I'm talking about? And also our Black Seas is coming out, so we're all excited about that. And SPQR comes out in 2 months, and that's a big brand new game about war factions, war bands, war tribes. It can get you into Hell Seas are cheap. Start off with little small actions. Heroes are kind of cool, and it's got a lot of neat stuff I can talk about for a long time, but I know we're short.
Now, recently on the channel, because of May 30th, Warlord Games have unofficially released the rules for the small skirmish game, Firefight.
Yeah.
Now, since we've posted, because we shot a battle report,
right,
and the response was phenomenal.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a great game.
It's so, like, I know the games are still the rules are unofficial, but it's still, I'm finding it very streamlined.
Yes.
And for people who love bolt action, you can play like a small little skirmish game too as well on top of that.
Oh yeah.
So do you want to touch upon Firefight?
Sure. Let's talk about Firefight is something we've been looking at. It's based on an old set of rules that Alessio put out a long time ago called it was a different set of rules. It was only 2-3 pages, quick, fast, and streamlined for one dice, one guy kind of stuff. So we've been playing with that. Some guys out there, and you know who you are working on some stuff for us all along those lines. It's a back shelf, back burner kind of thing because we got a lot of other stuff coming out, but people are working on it. And what you can do then, Rob, is combine it. Okay, let's really blow your mind. We'll take Firefight rules, we'll take bolt action, we'll take Cruel Seas, and we'll take Blood Red Skies, and let's do Guadalcanal. Okay, let me break it down for you. One table's got bolt action. Japanese and American Marines are fighting it out. Over another table, we got some Bettys trying to fly on to the board to bomb the table over there in bolt action. But Joe Foss and the Cactus Air Force comes up off, and they have a big fight. So if the bombers get off the table, then the Americans will get a bombing attack, a bombardment. Over on this table, Cruel Seas, we've got Japanese coming down the slot for our troop carriers, and the PT boats are trying to stop them. If they get off the board, boom, the Japanese now get some reinforcements. And then you take the firefight board, a Japanese village, and you have some Marine scouts trying to infiltrate through. If they get through, nullify or neutralize the Japanese and get off, on the bolt action table, the Marines get 2 flank attacks. Boom, 4 tables, 4 games, 12 to 14 guys, all at the same time, all interacting at the same time.
That is insane. Like, I could see
Stalingrad,
Yeah.
Saint Nazaire, you name the battle, you can bust it up 4 ways, and now you got 4 tables of 4 of our games all at the same time.
Wow, that's incredible. And another thing I noticed is, talking about specifically bolt action for a second,
Sure.
like, you're always releasing like different armored vehicles and everything
Yep.
else. Recently I purchased the Flak 88.
Yeah.
And the detail in that miniature is incredible, I have to say. And then you get your loading team with your crew too.
Well,
as
now
well.
we've got the Luftwaffe one coming out now. We had the desert one. Now that we've got that plastic 88 in the kit, all we're going to do is do metal crews. So you're going to see a lot of 88s in different kind of configurations. And then you see the Hungarian one. Almost had it. It's over here on the shelf. The Hungarian one's a sweet-looking one. It's in there. You know who I'm talking about. Sorry, we'll find it later. But it's got that sloped panel. That's an 88 for the Budapest fight. So yeah, we got a bunch of new stuff coming out. We just released Overlord. We're working on Marianas and Palau and into the year. And of course, Korea, my baby, along with Steve Smith. He wrote most of it. I did some of it, so I can't take all the credit. But that comes out in August. And we've got a PDF of it here if you want to come down to the booth and look at it.
Oh, we'll certainly go over there and check that
240
out.
pages, baby. It's more than the rule book.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, another thing, talking about like the new things coming out, another thing that I noticed now, I picked it up and I love it so much I had to pick up 2 of them, and that was the bunkers.
Oh, yeah.
Like the detail,
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how you were pulling out the detail into this, like for
The resin crew's going crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, and then adding them to the field too as well. It just adds so much more to the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a bit more about Blood Red Skies, because there's a lot of videos coming out on our channel for Blood Red Skies. Now, what's that?
This is Johnny Red. If you've ever read the graphic novel, it's been around since the 70s out of the battle. We now have the Falcon Squadron and Johnny Red himself. He's basically a guy that was drummed out of the RAF, went on some merchant tankers, and the British had these wacky ideas to defend the northern merchant convoy routes. They would put a Hurricane on the front of the boat and launch it like an arrow, and they would patrol and knock off the German fighters and then crash land. Hopefully he survives and put him back in the boat. Well, Johnny jumps in that one, takes off, and then instead of crash landing, goes and lands in Russia and takes over the Falcon Squadron. Check out the books; they're just amazing. This one actually, I kid you not, Rob, had me tearing up a little bit at the end. This is a great one, Hurricane. Now, Gareth Ennis took over from the original artist, which I'll have to look in here to get it, but check him out, Johnny Red. And we just released the Corsairs, and that comes with, we also had, we sold out of, no, there's Pappy. There's Pappy.
Oh, yeah.
And there's Philip Kirkwood, Ace in the Day Kirkwood. And then we've got these expansion packs coming out now, which add more cards, more data cards for like P-38s are in here, Lancaster Beef-17 EFs, not Gs, in here, and equipment cards. So now you can start like making lighter aircraft or bubble canopies, and each of the air forces will have these. This month are coming out the Shindins and the Raidens with 2 Japanese aces. Next month will be allies, so it goes Axis Allies, Axis Allies. I think it will be Russians, and then after that will be some more Germans, 109Gs, probably some 262s, stuff like that. And of course, talking about jets, in August with the Korea release, we're also doing a special thing called MiG Alley. 2 Sabres, 2 MiG-15s. A lot of fun. Come on down, we'll show you how to play. I got them here as well.
Oh, awesome. Now, one other question, because I know you're very busy, man. You're always busy. Every time we come to these
Thanks,
cons,
Rob.
and you're always busy. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, anybody, I know, and there's any new viewers may not know, but if you want to find more information about the games
Sure.
and the purchase, and like Bolt Action, Blood
Sure.
Red Skies, anything like that, where can they go?
They can go to warlordgames.com, www.warlordgames.com. That's our web store. Or they send me an email, jon.russel@warlordgames.com, and I can help them out. I can tell you everything, but I can give you some teasers like Black Seas. We showed you that already, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I can show you some teasers, but www.warlordgames.com or jon.russell@warlordgames.com. That's how you take care of it.
Awesome. And also one other plug here is the Facebook, the U.S. Facebook.
Oh
too,
yeah,
as
that's
well.
U.S. Warlord Demo Team. We're always on there. Every Wednesday I do a quick shout out, like I just did one because I was traveling. It's not safe to text or live video chat while driving, trust me. So I did it today instead of yesterday, but Wednesday's 11 o'clock CST time, Central Standard Time, because I'm in Oklahoma. I'll try to do something what's coming up where I'm going to be, so you can find out where I'm at as well.
All right, well, thank you very much, John. I will not keep you any longer. But
Thanks, Rob.
The viewers and I will definitely be looking forward to all the new things that are coming out.
Send me your questions.
Oh, don't worry, we certainly will. Thank you very much. I am at a booth that's called the Broken Token. And what Broken Token is about is you can get box inserts, dice towers, and everything else towards that line so that if you have any large board games, you can just conveniently put them together and it will just hold them. You can see there's dice towers, you can see here, everything else modular too as well. This is incredible. This is definitely what Board Game Maniacs would love, is this sort of stuff. Here's one of their inserts that they make, and this is specifically for Gloomhaven the Organizer. Everybody who plays Gloomhaven, because we do run campaigns onto our channel too as well, you notice that one thing that is a pain in the butt is trying to put in all of the boxes, all the cards, all the tokens, everything back together in an organized fashion. But as you can see here with the inserts, they make them conveniently enough so that you can just store them, easy whip down, set back up again, everything is organized. You don't have to rip through the box to search for stuff. They even have too as well, you can see here the little token holders. This is incredible. The card holders are there too as well. Like, all of this stuff is phenomenal. And moving on, you can see they have another game system here. This is pretty heavy duty. And Betrayal at House on the Hill. Now, everybody knows that we love playing this game on our channel too as well. And this itself is incredible. And it's only for $37 American. So you can put it in the box, you keep your box in good shape, and you organize everything so it's easier to find and play the game. This alone is a lifesaver right here with all the room tiles. It's incredible. On top of the inserts, they also make terrain, MDF terrain, which is laser cut too as well. So you can see there's a couple of samples there of some of the MDF terrain, really cool. And the prices are very reasonable, like $15 for that terrain. Incredible. Down here you can see $10 for sci-fi terrain. This is an objective room. Like various scatter terrain too as well. Like, so much stuff that they have here. It's awesome. We'll definitely be looking into getting some of this for the channel. One other thing I want to show that they have here, again, this is a large-scale game, Mansions of Madness, and we all know that because of all the expansions, you have many cards, many tokens, many figures and so forth. So again, this here is a very economical way so that you can store everything so you don't get it damaged, and it's all contained into one box. Some more gameplay going on, or gameplay demos. This is Game of Thrones Catan. And you can see it's a very popular game. I'm hoping to play Catan at some point onto the channel. One of the Maniacs, Connor, plays Catan a lot, so he's probably going to be able to play a game with us at some point on our channel. It's now roughly about 15 minutes after 12, and you can see the crowd is starting to come in and populate everything. It is such busyness going on in this building. And again, the building has, like, I think it's halls up to D. This is just the vendor hall itself, and we also have the demo halls too as well. All right, Board Game Maniacs, everybody that is a subscriber knows how much I love zombies. Zombies everything. And none other to talk to but the zombie lady herself from the company Twilight Creations, and your name is?
Carrie Breitenstein.
Carrie, you have the company Zombies, obviously, or the company Twilight Creations for zombies and humans and everything. And people that watch your channel, they know how much I'm a big fan of zombies. One question I have to ask, and this is for all the viewers, is how many versions of zombies are out?
Well, we have the base game, and then we have 15 expansions right now.
How many expansions?
15.
15 expansions. That is crazy. Now, Twilight Creations, can you give us a little bit of a backstory about Twilight Creations, of when it started and your first game and everything?
We designed the game when Todd was working for United States Playing Card Company, and they dissolved that division and they allowed us to take the game with us, so we started Twilight Creations around it. And then we just started coming out with expansions. We really liked the horror genre, so we made a whole bunch of games that had the horror theme to them.
Almost everybody I talk to is very familiar with the game Zombies. Now, aside from Zombies, what other games do you offer for sale?
We have spin-offs of Zombies, Humans, Martians, Cthulhu. They're all tile-based. Then we have games that aren't related. They're just more zombie type of games, like Zombie Survival and Zombie Town. The majority of our games are horror-related.
Awesome. Another question too, so I was talking to you off camera, and you have a new game that is going to be released, the Kickstarter, in the very near future. You want to talk about that a little bit?
We have 3 new card games that'll come out on the same Kickstarter. One is called Patient Zero, where you're trying to figure out who Patient Zero is and cure them before one of the humans turns into a zombie. And you get infections during the game that will change your behavior. Like you have to talk a certain way, you might have to tug on your ear when you're talking, wink at somebody, or you might have to talk in an accent. And as the game progresses, the more infections you get and more your behavior shows it. Patient Zero doesn't have to do their infections, but they can, and they try to keep people from figuring out who they are.
With this Patient Zero, this is the unofficial kind of release that you're doing here at Origins, just as like demos I'm showing over there. You have demo games going on throughout the weekend too as well. This here is a card-based game. There's no dice or anything involved. So do you want to give us I don't want you to give too much away, just an example of like 1 or 2 cards that are kind of like your favorite in the deck that you had, because obviously you played this before because you created it.
Right.
So what would be like, just hypothetical, like one of your most favorite cards?
I think the infection cards are definitely the most interesting part of the game. One is during the game you have to play an air instrument. So you have to do it at least one time during the game, during each round. That one's fun. Talk in an accent, you add a little beer, it gets really, really interesting.
We're all familiar with that.
Yep. There's some of the rules infections that during the game you might only be able to talk to the person to your left, or you have to address people by their wrong name, which is interesting in a convention because you might not know their name anyways. So it's things like that. The infections are definitely the most interesting part of the game.
Speaking of the card game that's going to be released, now what would be involved into the core box? Like, because I know during Kickstarters, you have like your base goal that you get, and then if you get a certain goals, you add ons and you get expansions. Is that going to happen with this game too as well?
No, I think this one will be a one and done type of thing. We could do spin-offs of it, or we could add additional infections, but that would be like really small releases. So it comes with 88 cards and rules, and that's all you need to play. And it plays from 3 to 8 players.
And
or 10 players, sorry.
3 to 10 players?
Yes.
That's great. And 88 cards, that's a lot of content into a box.
Yes.
Also too as well, just one more question. I know you're a busy lady. Everybody can see the buzz and everybody coming around into the booth. But with this game, and where there's so many, I'm just losing track because I'm just going back to my games of playing with zombies, so I apologize about that. But with the Kickstarter, and after the Kickstarter's done, is it going to be coming out in local stores, like the local gaming stores you know of?
Absolutely.
And if anybody wants more information about this card game, your Kickstarter information, or even if you want to buy like Zombies or Humans, where can they go to find more information about that?
You can find us at www.twilightcreationsinc.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. I won't keep any more of your time. Everybody knows how great this game is to play and how much you can pick apart your opponent by playing cards that will make them very angry. And I thank you for such great games such as this. So you have a great time, and we're looking forward to hopefully playing some games on the channel, or more games on the channel from Twilight Creations.
Thank you.
Hello, how's it going?
This is Floyd Liu. He is the creator of the new game. Now, everybody's seen the horror game that we played on the channel back in last year of October for one of the Halloween themed videos, The Refuge. Now, there's a new refuge you can see from the sign behind.
That is it. It features steampunk divers, as you can tell with my diving helmet, and it features a Kraken, a cool Kraken down here. It's a 90mm Kraken, and fantastic upside down miniatures. There's one right there.
The detail is incredible here. Like the miniatures, they increase the size of the miniatures slightly to get more detail onto them.
Here's one that's completely upside down.
This is incredible. Now, everybody who's subscribed to the channel, even the viewers, are very familiar with Refuge from where we played it last year. So a couple of questions for you there, Floyd, is aside from deep sea diving as opposed to the zombies, now what sets this game different from the original Refuge? Talking about mechanics and everything.
So what we made different here is we added a lot more stuff to it. We wanted to lean more to the hobby market, and so we attached a solo mode. We attached a co-op mode. We attached this giant Kraken that can devour you in this nautical combo-driven board game. It's very cool because we built the world entirely before we started anything on it. And so we wanted this really authentic alternate universe before we even began to design the characters. There are more cards. There are character abilities. So each character feels very unique. And no longer will you get like a starting generic hand. There are now key cards that you can complete as objectives, and there are even better supply cards that you can get.
Now, you touched upon the keyword of solo mode. Now, I know the original Refuge game did not have a solo mode.
That's correct.
So now people can play the game solo, and it seems like it's more of a story-driven kind of game now. Is that true? Or?
Right. Yeah. One of the modes is, but for those who love the original Refuge, it still has that classic mode, but updated. So it will still have that elements, and we have a surprise for you, because if you back this on Kickstarter, you will get the original character cards from the legendary characters of the Refuge or Race for Survival. So they'll get their character abilities, and you'll be able to use those in the old game.
So with the Kickstarter being released now, and so you upgraded the original Refuge characters.
Correct.
For it. So do you want to just talk about maybe one upgrade that you did compared to the original Refuge to the zombie one where you upgraded the character?
Yeah. So, like, let's look at this character for example. This is Katarina. Her player has an anchor swing which eliminates all the tentacles around her, which is really cool. And instead of using a supply card, you could use this card. There's this one I think is cool. Her mechanized arm. She can throw people or throw things.
Throw people and throw things?
Not only can she swing an anchor, but she can throw things in the sea, which is absolutely nuts.
So again, it's a lot more detailed into the characters, and it brings you more into the game. You know, one thing I noticed when I played the Refuge game, first I played one off camera and then one on camera, is that almost instantaneous, you could pick it up and start playing the game without, you know, being unsure of the rules, because it's a very simplistic game to pick up, and it's a heck of a lot of fun to play, and it can last, you know, like 30 minutes, or it can last a little longer. Now I'm assuming with the characters and you get the special abilities, that's even going to add more fun to the gameplay.
Correct. Yeah. So I'll be completely honest with you, it's not going to be as fast as a Race for Survival, but it is along those same lines. You do have to do a little bit more reading into the characters, and you do have to read a bit more on the objectives, but it's a lot of fun. If you played the old one, then you'll instantly pick it up. The learning curve is not high.
That's incredible. Like, again, the quality of the miniatures are just, they're very superior to a lot of other games that I've seen. And like, again, I'm just, like, the dynamic poses in these are incredible. And you can see from the board here, again, because this is underwater, you can see like the rocks and the whirlpools and the tentacles. Now, if you played the original Refuge, you could have one where you switch back and forth. Now, I'm assuming this is the same thing, like it's going to switch from, you can trade places.
Right, yeah. So essentially, you're seeing basically the classic tiles here. The only new tile that I'm excited about is the Kraken tile. Now, this is something really interesting. When you land on this Kraken tile, you flip one of these cards. And this card tells you that the Kraken will move twice over, wedging you in the corner. And eventually, if you stay there long enough, you could eventually get devoured.
So the Kraken can pretty much push you against the wall to hold you and then eat you.
Correct. Before you can even escape, which is really cool.
This is incredible. And right now the game is, it's on Kickstarter right now?
It's on Kickstarter. We're doing really well. We're at 50,000 and we're only halfway through the campaign.
And when is the closing date for the Kickstarter?
The closing date is within 14 days. I actually brought up a sheet here so that you can see the actual facts, and it looks like I'm on Kickstarter right now.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, after the Kickstarter campaign is finished, if somebody misses the Kickstarter, where could they go if they wanted to purchase this?
They could still go to that same Kickstarter page. We will still have a backer kit link, which is pretty much a pledge manager, and it'll handle like late pledges and things like that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to show me this game. Look forward to this on Kickstarter, and trust me, just go watch the Board Game Maniacs Refuge game. It plays phenomenally, and this here is no exception. It's going to probably outplay, I'm sorry, but it's probably going to outplay the original. But I'm still very curious about the character cards, that if you back it in one of the stretch goals, you're going to get the character cards for the original Refuge.
Yes. So original fans of the Refuge Eraser Survival, look out for those ability cards because they're going to be cool.
That's awesome. Well, again, thank you very much, and we'll be looking forward to this. So again, Board Game Maniacs, go to the Kickstarter, go to the Refuge, Terror from the Deep, pledge it, because if you're not, you're going to be kicking yourself that you didn't do it. Thank you very much, and
thank you very much, Robert.
I will be seeing you on the flip side.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to keep up to date with Board Game Maniacs, click on the like and subscribe button to be notified when more videos come available. If you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, go to patreon.com/BoardGameManiacs. Or you can go to streamlabs.com/BoardGameManiacs1. That's right, and you can donate to help keep the lights on, keep food in our bellies, and play more games. We'll purchase more games, more equipment to make Board Game Maniacs evolve and get bigger and larger because of you, the viewers. I thank you from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head for all of your support. And until next time, Board Game Maniacs, be a maniac.